One more thing. What if we had a big old spreadsheet or a database, or better yet, a map that showed everybody that's doing wide row corn experiments? So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask people that are in the call to go to your chat box and type in a number, two numbers. One number is how many people do you think in the state of Iowa are experimenting with some form of wide row corn? The twin 30s is okay, that counts. 90 inches is okay. Single 60, twin row 60, don't matter. But how many people do you think in the state of Iowa are experimenting with it? And then the second number to type in, comma, put a comma, the second number to type in, and Lauren, write these down, is that just because when we close out the meeting, I think all this stuff disappears. The second number is how many people do you think are doing it in North America? Now, I know we've got some folks up in Canada that are doing it too. I've asked a few people for estimates and I get widely varying numbers. We did do this once before. We did do it in 2018, and it really got thrown together as a result of an article that was in the John Deere Furl and a presentation at the Practical Farmers of Iowa meeting that triggered a bunch of buzz, and then people started doing it. But they were simple. I tried to get people to do replicated plots out. That clearly wasn't going to work in phone calls and PowerPoints and all that. So we had what we call BTN plots, which is out of respect for an old John Deere marketing guy, may he rest in peace, named Johnny Dickinson. It's called better than nothing plots. So these are, and basically it was, okay, you're almost done planting, you're ahead of schedule, turn off half your rows, crank the other half up to twice the population that you had. And if you can't get there, go as high as you can and make a round. And then tell me how it turned out. So we had 30 people. This is the map roughly of where they were in 9 different states. Of those 30, 7 of them came back with results, and they didn't have cover crops. They just have wide row corn, and 5 had cover crops with them. So I got 12 data points out of the 30. Which, okay, not too bad. And so this was the spreadsheet going in, and that by intention it's too small to read, because I want to honor, and one of the columns here is, are you willing to share your data, your information, your phone number? So this gets really square into the face of privacy, intellectual property, and all that sort of stuff. I have submitted a grant request, and I've gotten some pretty strong letters of support that says this is worth doing. So I'm thinking of creating that database, including a map that has clickable dots where you can actually get information, and it has to recognize the confidentiality privacy thing. The real test will be, are people willing to do that? And maybe there's a subset that says, well, I'll pay for a subscription, and then I'll share my data with other people that are paying for a subscription, so that assholes that were on this call earlier screwing it up, if they want to screw up things in here, they have to pay the piper, at least to do that. So I really don't want to do that. I'd much rather have it be open source, because I want people that are thinking about doing it to see who is doing it in their neighborhood or with like processes or whatever. I think that's it. I'm looking for feedback from the group. Do you think something like this would be useful?
So far, we only have Zach replied in the chat. So
everybody's so shy. People put their names in. Well, and I've used up way more of my time than I should have. If I don't, emails are wonderful. Always happy to get an email. My email's right there, cedarvalleyinnovation@gmail.com. We didn't talk a lot about hardware today. Dawn Underground Agriculture has provided me with some really nice drill units that work really well for drilling in seed, cover crop seed in wide rows. I've got the coolest little 48-inch drill on the planet. It's got a full-fledged Montag 2108 meter that is a variable rate prescription if I can figure out how to use it. Really just a really nice machine. In another day, if Lauren gets this regular event happening, maybe I'll have some conversation about that in a future meeting, but this was not going to be a cover crop or equipment meeting, but rather what did we learn? And what I learned is variety matters, soil matters more, and it ain't over yet in figuring out what the optimal row width opening is. I'm interested for any of you to jump in and tell me what you've learned today.